Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is normally Throwback Thursday, but it happens to be May 4th, as in Star Wars Day. And we're going to talk a little bit about something that Kathleen Kennedy has recently said about kind of taking the franchise in a new direction, going back to the way it used to be, where Star Wars movies were released every 3 years or so. And I think that might actually be a good thing, and let me explain why. Let's jump right into it. One of the biggest complaints about the new Star Wars trilogy, about this sequel trilogy we got a few years back, was that it felt rushed. It felt inconsistent. It felt like they didn't have a plan. Now, I, as a fan, kind of had listened to what they said about taking this and that from the expanded universe. And that's kind of what they did overall. They did take a lot from the expanded universe, but they didn't want to recast Luke, Han, and Leia. They wanted to go with making them the legacy characters and handing it off to a whole new series of characters. I didn't mind that so much. I see why people are mad about the fact that the movies came out and didn't seem to have a plan, because overall, if you look at the movies, you can see where they might have been a bit rushed to get this out, to get that out. Especially being that the movies actually take place so close together. With Return of the Jedi and some of those movies, you had a time gap. You had a time jump between movies to tell you that this took place a few years after the events of the other movie. And I think that worked well for them. And I think the newer movies could have benefited from that. But since then, we have seen a resurgence in Star Wars fandom going a bit more the way it was originally planned to, with the whole Mandalorian thing, with the Bad Batch, with us getting the Clone Wars final season finally, and with us now getting the Ahsoka series and all these other things happening. And I think that that's really a good step for the franchise. However, Kathleen Kennedy has announced that going forward, the movies would only happen about every 3 years or so. And I don't think that's a bad idea, because it gives them time to get everything in order. It gives them time to actually take and write the script, find people to direct, find the right people to write it, direct it, and yes, even find the right stars. Because it's a whole process that needs to be done here. And I think that taking their time and doing the more James Bond thing, as she pointed out, she said she keeps going back to the concept of James Bond being out every couple of years rather than out every year, and how that doesn't give the studio this sort of rush to get it out. It creates less anxiety for everyone involved. And I think that that's actually right. The older movies did have a few years in between them. The prequels had a few years in between them. So what was the deal with us having to have a brand new Star Wars movie every year? On paper, this sounded really amazing. But when you do that, there's bound to be a few inconsistencies, a few things that people have now seen it so close together that they're ready to pick apart. When we watched the original, we were always super excited because we were watching it so far apart that when you did watch them back to back, you knew there was a time jump. You had more of a suspension of disbelief. We're supposed to be getting a new Mandalorian movie to kind of tie that whole thing together in a nice big bow. And then we're supposed to be getting a movie with the sequel trilogy characters, mainly Rey so far. We know that Rey is supposed to be starting the new Jedi Order. Now, of course, in the comic books and expanded universe, this was done by Luke. But in the comic books and expanded universe, Luke could stay young forever. We no longer have that option in real life. So yes, they could have kept Luke alive. Yes, they could have had him training people. But eventually, they would have had to have gone away from the Luke Skywalker character anyway, or recast. And if you recast when you're dealing with an older character, why would you do that? So I get their concept behind bringing Rey in to start the new Jedi Order. I understand where they're going. And they are trying to do what they originally said they were going to do. Keep some of the stuff from Expanded Universe. We did get Palpatine coming back as a clone in the Expanded Universe, but it felt rushed here. It felt rushed. We got the kid, the Skywalker kid, being bad. However, it felt rushed. We got a lot of things from the Expanded Universe that they changed up a little bit and sort of rushed and put together in a way that maybe didn't feel right to some fans. But I was still super excited to see every one of these movies. And the reason I was super excited to see every single one of them is because I am a fan of the franchise itself. For me, the aliens, the ships, the lightsaber battles, the characters themselves are the things that I go for. I think that taking their time with everything going forward and all the new Star Wars stuff that they've announced, kind of taking their time with it, doing everything and making an event out of every single release is a super great way to go. But I want to know what you guys think. So we want to know what you guys think. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment box below. Make sure you share this video with all of your friends so they can be a part of the conversation as well. Then don't forget to smash that like button as hard as you can. It's free, it helps the channel, and we appreciate it. Then friends, Miko says we need more subscribers. You don't want to disappoint Miko, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And remember friends, fandom is family, and may the 4th be with you.